My brother raised his glass, smirked, and shouted over the music. Can we all give it up for my little sister? Still jobless at 29, still figuring it out. The private lounge roared. People I pay to show up to work whistled, clapped, and someone yelled, "Career mode. Spectator." They laughed like my life was a meme. None of them knew they'd filled out onboarding paperwork for a company I own. And none of them knew that 5 minutes after that toast, their badges, their bonuses, and my brother's entire career would be hanging by a thread I control. If you've ever been the underestimated sibling, the quiet one at the table, or the failure everyone feels comfortable joking about, stick with me. Before we blow up the lounge, the job, and my brother's ego, do me a favor. Tap that like button, hit subscribe if you love seeing poetic justice actually land, and drop a comment with where you're watching from and what time it is right now. I want to see how far a story about family, ego, and revenge can travel.
All right,
let's dive in. My name is Harper Cole. I'm 29. And for most of my life, I've been the background character in my own family. If you walked into our house growing up, you'd think it was a museum dedicated to my brother, Dylan. Every wall had him on it. Jerseys, honor cords, trophies, his smile frozen in all the proud son moments. My achievements lived in drawers. Literally. Certificates my mom, meant to frame when she had time, were stacked in a kitchen junk drawer beside dead batteries and rubber bands. When Dylan made varsity basketball, my mom threw a party. Balloons.
Cake.
Family photos. When I won first place in a regional design competition, she smiled and said, "That's nice, honey. Maybe you can help your brother with his project." In our house, charisma beat quiet effort every single time. The first time Dylan stole something from me, it wasn't money, it was credit. He was 17, I was 14. He had this business club competition, and he needed an app mock-up. I stayed up 3 nights straight on our crappy secondhand laptop, teaching myself design software no one had time to help me with. He took my work, slapped his name on it, and presented it.
He won.
They called him a natural entrepreneur, a visionary, while I sat in the back of the auditorium, clapping until my palms hurt, pretending my stomach didn't. He forgot to mention I existed. That pattern repeated so many times, it stopped feeling like theft and started feeling like normal. He'd stand in the spotlight, and somewhere in the dark, I'd be holding the wiring. Fast forward a decade. While my family whispered that I was drifting and unfocused, I was building something that just didn't look like success to them. No corner office with my name on the door.
No blazer. No LinkedIn blebrais.
Just me, a rented desk in a co-working space, a stained hoodie, and enough caffeine in my bloodstream to kill a small horse. I built a boutique creative agency called Bright Line Collective. We did digital strategy and content for brands that wanted to look young and loud online. At first, it was just me and a couple of freelancers who trusted my vision more than I did. Then it was me and 2 employees. Then it was me and a team of 20. One morning, my dad casually mentioned seeing one of my clients on TV. Their logo flashed between 2 national commercials, and I realized my parents didn't get it, but I was playing in the big leagues now. Here's the twist, though. Almost no one knew I owned Bright Line. Publicly, my COO, Jordan Hayes, was the face. He did the interviews. He spoke at conferences. On paper, he was CEO. Behind the scenes, the controlling ownership was tucked under an unassuming LLC.
Me.
I did that on purpose. I was tired of everything being run through the filter of, how does this compare to Dylan? I wanted to build something without my mom's commentary, without my brother angling for credit, without my family treating my work like a cute side quest. So when they asked how work was going, I shrugged.
I'm freelancing.
I'm figuring it out. It's fine. Let them think I was drifting. Let them underestimate me. It was quiet there. It stayed that way for years. Right up until the day our HR manager walked into my office with a resume and said, "We got a referral from a family friend. Guy seems charming, bit light on actual results, but his references talk about him like he's a wizard with clients." She slid the resume across my desk. At the top, in bold letters, Dylan Cole. My brother had just applied for a senior account manager role at my agency. My stomach dropped so fast, I actually grabbed the edge of the desk. He'd padded numbers that didn't belong to him, glossed over 2 jobs I knew he'd quit in dramatic flames, and painted himself exactly the way my parents saw him. Golden. Jordan liked him immediately.
He's confident, he said.
Great in front of a room. We can coach him on the details. Jordan didn't know that this charming candidate was the same person who once told me, "You're good as a behind-the-scenes type." Not everyone is meant to be seen, Harper. I had a decision. Block the hire and reveal myself, or let him come in, thinking he was just another employee, and watch who he chose to be when he didn't think I mattered. So I said, if the team thinks he's a fit, let's try him. Foreshadowing much? Dylan joined Brightline without ever connecting the dots. The building didn't have my name on it. Just exposed brick, neon lights, and the Brightline logo glowing over reception. To my parents, real offices were beige and depressing. So in Dylan's head, this was just some edgy place his little sister floated through sometimes. The few times he saw me there at first, he assumed I was visiting a friend. He never asked what I actually did. It fit the story in his head. He was the one on the real career path. I was the artsy drifter. At first, he looked like a win. He remembered names. He made interns feel seen. He turned dry briefs into something that sounded exciting. We needed this energy, one of the leads told me. I wanted to believe them. And then the old patterns slid in like they'd never left. A junior strategist missed a slide in a deck. In front of the team, Dylan smirked and said, "It's okay. You're not here for your brain anyway." People laughed. Her face didn't. At happy hour, he mimicked a video editor's stutter. In meetings, he'd say stuff like, "Let the kids take a pass. Then the adults will fix it." Whenever someone looked uncomfortable, he'd shrug it off.
Relax, I'm joking.
We're in advertising, not kindergarten. The reports came in pieces. A quiet comment from Lily, one of our strategists. A DM about off jokes. A copywriter asking if we had an anonymous reporting system. My old instinct kicked in. Maybe they're overreacting. He doesn't mean it. He's just intense. That's how I'd survived Dylan my whole life, by telling myself a softer story about his cruelty. Then we landed a dream client. Huge beauty brand. Big money. Jordan and Lily nailed the strategy. The room buzzed without electric. We did it feeling. Dylan was supposed to handle chemistry, build rapport, make them feel like we were their people. Instead, he went off script. I told our team even my little sister, who can't hold down a job, could get this one right, he joked, gesturing toward the client. He laughed at his own line. The client did not. He followed it up by taking a shot at wannabe creatives playing designer on their laptops. Officially, we lost the contract because they went in a different direction. Unofficially, through the grapevine, we heard someone on your team had weird energy and talked about his jobless sister like she was a joke.
Didn't sit right.
Jordan slapped the email down on his desk and looked at me. "We need to talk about Dylan," he said. "People are avoiding his accounts. And now this." While that fire was still burning, Lily sent me a folder. Screenshots of Slack threads. Quotes from conversations. A voice memo recorded at a bar. There he was, my brother, calling a junior designer, our diversity hire, telling an intern, "If you can't handle pressure, go back to group projects." Bragging, even my unemployed sister could do better with Canva. The emojis underneath? Laughter. Crying, laughing faces. Some from the same people who would later be cheering in that private lounge. Seeing it all in one place killed any illusion that this was edgy humor. This was bullying wearing a party hat. I stopped looking for gentle explanations and started preparing. I sat down with HR. We mapped out formal disciplinary paths. I reviewed our training logs. With permission, I spoke to a few of the people he'd hurt. They weren't dramatic. They were tired. Tired of feeling small. Tired of wondering if speaking up would make them the next punchline. Tired of assuming he was untouchable because he was tight with leadership. Their stories echoed my 14-year-old self, clapping in the dark while Dylan got my trophy. By the time we reached the night in that private lounge, decisions were already forming in my mind. The lounge was full of bright line people. Strategy leads. producers, social managers, people whose offer letters I had personally signed. Jordan had rented the space to celebrate wrapping a big campaign. The DJ was too loud. The lighting was too dim. Everyone was riding that post-deadline high. I stood near the bar, sipping my drink, invisible by habit. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I glanced down. Email. Formal complaint. Workplace harassment. Anonymous. Timestamp. 10 minutes earlier. My stomach flipped. The complaint laid out everything I already knew, and more. A senior account manager, initials D.
C.
Liked humiliating junior staff in front of clients. He made jokes about their looks, their intelligence, their race, their mental health. He pressured people to stay out late with clients, then mocked them if they said no. The last paragraph hit me like a slap. I don't feel safe bringing this to HR because everyone seems to love him. If someone higher up doesn't step in soon, I'm quitting. I stood there, the bass thudding in my chest, reading those words while my brother laughed a few feet away. Then he clinked his glass. "Can we all give it up for my little sister?" he yelled. Still jobless at 29, still figuring it out. The room exploded. Whistles. Laughter. A few fake sympathetic ahs. And then that voice near the bar. Career mode. Spectator? They howled. They were laughing at the image of me they had in their heads. The drifting sibling. The loser. The couch-surfing creative who never really made it. Not knowing that every single person in that room worked for me. I didn't defend myself. I didn't shout, "I sign your paychecks." I didn't rattle off my client list or revenue. I smiled, raised my glass, let the moment stretch. And inside, something went very, very quiet. This wasn't about a bad joke anymore. It wasn't about my feelings or my pride or a lifetime of being the lesser sibling. This was about culture, about what I had been willing to tolerate in a company I built from nothing. As the laughter rolled over me, I started making decisions. Contracts. Badges. HR meetings. What it really means to flip a table without touching a single plate. 5 minutes later, I stepped away from the noise, ducked into a hallway, and sent 3 emails. 1 to HR. Flag and prioritize the complaint regarding DC. Schedule a culture and conduct all hands for tomorrow. Mandatory. 1 to Jordan. We're addressing Dylan and the harassment complaints first thing tomorrow.
No postponing.
I'll lead. And 1 to myself, sitting in drafts like a dare. Subject, owner reveal, bright line. The next morning, the office felt
Off.
People whispered. Some pretended nothing had happened. Others avoided my eyes altogether. At 10 a.m., the entire company filed into the conference room for the all-hands. No snacks, no music, no fun slide deck. Just tension. Dylan strolled in late with an iced coffee, took a seat in the middle like he was about to watch a show, not star in it. Jordan started. "We can't do our best work if people feel small or scared," he said. "Today isn't about blaming one person. It's about holding a mirror up to all of us." He clicked. A slide appeared with an anonymized quote. "I feel like I'm one bad joke away from being publicly embarrassed." The room shifted in their seats. My turn. I stepped up and hit play on a video clip we'd pulled from a recorded Zoom. Dylan's voice filled the room. "If you can't handle a client raising their voice, maybe this industry isn't for you. We can't all be fragile little art students." Nervous chuckles rippled and died quickly. Next clip. Audio from a bar recording. "We're practically a charity for junior talent," Dylan's voice said. "Have you seen some of the portfolios HR sends? My unemployed sister could do better with Canva." Silence. Then Slack screenshots. "Relax, it's just banter." If they can't take a joke, they're in the wrong place. And under that, in big text, "Whose comfort are we protecting when we call bullying banter?" I turned to the room. "I built this place so people wouldn't have to swallow their dignity to cash a paycheck," I said. "Hearing how some of you have been spoken to, that's not who we say we are." Dylan raised his hand, incredulous. "Are we seriously playing secret recordings now?" He scoffed. "Anyone who knows me knows I'm kidding. You're making me sound like some villain. If I hurt someone's feelings, they could just talk to me." From the front row, Lily spoke up. Some of us did, Dylan, she said. You told us we were too sensitive. Then you made jokes about that, too. You could feel it, this tiny shift in gravity. For once, the room's energy was flowing toward the person calling it out, not the one brushing it off. We're in advertising, not kindergarten, Dylan snapped. If we start policing jokes, there'll be nothing left. And you, he pointed at me, laughing bitterly. You don't even have a real job, Harper. You float around making mood boards, and suddenly you're the morality police. The old me would have shrunk, apologized for making a scene, tried to calm him down. Instead, I clicked to the last slide. Power isn't just what you have. It's what you're willing to use. You're right, I said calmly. This isn't kindergarten. In kindergarten, there are consequences for hurting people on purpose. At this level, there are contracts. After this meeting, there will be more conversations. Some of them will end with people no longer working here. He snorted. So, what, you threatening me now? I'm promising this team something I should have promised sooner, I replied. No one is untouchable.
Not even you.
The meeting ended in a thick, uneasy silence. But the real storm was waiting behind a different door. A one-on-one meeting. Just me. Just Dylan. Not as his little sister. As his boss. As the owner. I walked into that conference room with a termination packet and a lifetime of swallowed words sitting heavy in my chest. He flopped into the chair, spinning slightly. So, he drawled, am I here for another lecture on tone? Or did someone complain my coffee orders are too aggressive now? Sit up, I said quietly. This isn't a joke. He smirked, but straightened a little. You really leaned into the dramatic boss thing out there. Recording people and all that. Didn't know you had it in you. There are things you don't know about me, I said. That's part of the problem. Oh, come on, Harp. I've known you my whole life. You're not about to ruin my career because a couple interns don't like my sense of humor. I slid the printed complaint and screenshots across the table. This isn't about a couple interns, I said. This is about a pattern. You've undermined junior staff, made discriminatory comments, misrepresented expenses, and cost us a major client. When people tried to talk to you, you mocked them, and then you mocked me in front of those same people. He barely glanced at the pages. They're overreacting. Everyone's so soft now. And you, he leaned back, eyes narrowing. You're making this personal because of one stupid toast. It is personal, I said. To every person you humiliated. To every employee who watched you get away with it and wondered if this place was safe. And yeah, it's personal to me. Because you did it on my watch. In my company. He laughed, genuinely amused. Your company? He repeated. That's cute. You do some scheduling and vibes, boss people around about timelines, and suddenly it's your company. I took a breath. But your behavior here? That's on you. Color flooded his face. So what? He snapped. You've been letting me work under you like some experiment? Enjoying the show from your little throne. I hired you because Jordan believed in your potential, I said. I let it happen because I wanted to believe you'd grown up. I stayed anonymous because I wanted to see who you'd be when you thought no one in the room needed you more than you needed them. And you decided I failed your little test, he said. You decided that, I answered softly. Every time you chose to make someone smaller so you could feel bigger. Every time you traded respect for a cheap laugh. He leaned forward, eyes blazing. You think you're better than me now? Because you've got some paperwork with your name on it? Mom and Dad mortgaged half their future to help you chase your little dream. I'm the one who stayed home. I'm the one who visits every week. Don't talk to me about who's selfish. They didn't mortgage anything, I said, my voice steady. They offered to help. I said no. I took out loans. I maxed cards, I wish I hadn't. The only thing they gave me was doubt. Are you sure this is realistic? Maybe get something stable first. I built this in spite of that, not because of some secret bailout. He searched my face, looking for a crack. Even if that's true, he finally said, you're still my sister. You're really going to fire me? Make me the villain in your little company story? What are you going to tell Mom? That you destroyed your own brother because a couple snowflakes couldn't take a joke? I thought of Lily telling me she would leave if nothing changed. Of the anonymous emails saying yesterday gave them hope. Of every person who'd ever sat at their desk here wondering if their dignity had a price. If I don't fire you, I said quietly, what I'm really telling Mom is that she was right about me, that I'm too soft to lead. And what I'm telling everyone here is that their safety is optional when the person hurting them is someone I love. His eyes narrowed into something sharp and wounded. You're serious, he whispered. Dylan, I said, my voice cracking just a little. I love you. I will always want good things for you. But I will not let you burn down what I built just because no one ever told you no and meant it. For once in our lives, the consequences are going to match the choices, not the story you've sold everyone. He swallowed hard, then looked away. So that's it, he said. You're going to strip everything from me. Humiliate me in front of my friends. Make some grand example. I'm not going to humiliate you, I said. I'm going to tell the truth. What people do with that truth is up to them. I slid the termination papers across the table. Your employment at Brightline ends effective immediately. HR will walk you through the logistics. You'll be paid out according to your contract. You're not being publicly dragged. You're being held accountable. He stared at the papers, then at me. You're choosing them over me, he said. I'm choosing me, I answered. And the version of me who promised this place would never become the kind of environment that broke her. He didn't sign the papers. He shoved back his chair so hard it hit the wall and left the room without another word. HR would handle the rest. The revenge story everyone imagines is the big, dramatic scene. The explosion. The shouting. But sometimes the real revenge is quieter. It's the moment you finally refuse to keep sacrificing yourself just to keep someone else comfortable. Still, there was one more thing I had to do. I had to take off the mask for everyone else. The next day, rumors were everywhere. Did you hear? Dylan's been fired. Is he really gone? Wait, who actually made that call? I sent one more all-hands invite. Company update. Ownership and culture. Mandatory. When the team gathered, the mood was different. The defensiveness from the last meeting had shifted into raw curiosity and a little fear. Jordan opened briefly.
You all know me, he said.
What you may not fully know is who I do this with. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. No more anonymous ownership. He turned to me. I walked to the front, feeling every pair of eyes on me. My heart hammered so loud it felt like the mic might pick it up. Behind me, the screen lit up. Brightline logo. Underneath, founder and majority owner, Harper Cole. Next to it was a photo of me the day we signed our office lease. I looked exhausted and hopeful, and like I had no idea what was coming. The room collectively inhaled. Someone whispered, "No way." Lily's eyes filled with tears. From the back, a voice I recognized said, "I knew it. I should have told you this a long time ago," I began. When we started Brightline, I chose to stay in the background. Some of that was strategy. A lot of it was personal. I was scared that if my family knew what I was building, they'd try to control it or compare it or tear it apart. I was scared that if you knew, you'd treat me differently. So I let this myth of a mystery owner exist, and I let you think I was just another cog. I took a breath. That secrecy protected me, but it also hurt us. It made it harder for you to believe that leadership would actually step up when it mattered. I clicked to an image from the lounge. Faces blurred, glasses raised. A frozen moment. The night my brother called me, still jobless at 29, I said, almost everyone in this frame laughed. I'm not here to roast you or embarrass you. I'm here to be honest. I let the silence stretch. When you laughed, you weren't just laughing at me. You were laughing at the version of me he'd sold you, useless, drifting, disposable. You were laughing at the idea that someone without a visible title doesn't matter. Here's the twist you didn't know. Every single person in that frame works for me. Heads bowed. A few people wiped their eyes. You never actually know who you're mocking, I said softly. You don't know their story, their power, their value. A strategy lead raised his hand, voice hoarse. I was there, he said. I laughed.
I'm sorry.
Thank you,
I said.
Owning it is the first step. This isn't about mass punishment. It's about a reset. I clicked to the next slide. 3 bullet points. First, I said, we're putting real anti-harassment and anti-bullying policies in place. Not just posters. Training. Clear reporting channels. Real follow-through. Second, people who encouraged or participated in abusive behavior, based on complaints and messages, will be meeting with HR. Some of those conversations will end in improvement plans. A few will end in separation. I won't name them here. They know who they are. I hesitated on the third point, then pushed through. And third, if you laughed that night and you genuinely want to do better, I'm not firing you for one moment of bad judgment. I'm inviting you to help build the culture we say we believe in. The truth is, I added, I didn't fire everyone who laughed. I fired everyone who insisted on staying the person who laughed. A handful of people chose that path. The rest of you? You have a choice now. I looked around the room. I'm not interested in running a company full of flawless people. I'm interested in running a company full of people who care enough to grow. If you're here for that, I'm with you. If you're not, this probably isn't your place. There was a long, fragile silence. And then, slowly, people started to clap. Not the wild, party clapping from the lounge. Something smaller. More real. After that, things didn't become perfect. But they got better. People called each other in, not just out. Jokes shifted from punching down to punching up. New hires heard the story of the owner who fired her own brother. Not as gossip, but as a warning. She means what she says about respect. My mom called me crying, accusing me of ruining your brother's life. I told her calmly, his choices did that. My dad called later, voice rough. I didn't realize how big Bright Line was, he said.
I'm
proud of you, kid. Not a full apology, but a crack in the wall. Dylan didn't speak to me for weeks. When he finally did, it was a simple text. Got a job interview. I'll figure it out.
Don't worry about me.
Not forgiveness. Not understanding. But a step toward a version of himself that has to stand on his own feet for once. Do I regret it? Firing my brother. Revealing myself. Shattering the illusion that kept everyone comfortable.
No.
The night he raised that glass and called me still jobless, he thought he held all the power. The real revenge wasn't firing him. It was showing him, and everyone else, that the person you underestimate the most might be the one writing the ending. So if you've ever been the less successful sibling, the quiet one, the punchline, ask yourself this. What would change in your life if you stopped waiting for their permission to take up space? And if you've ever watched someone get torn down at work and stayed quiet, here's your gut check. Next time, are you going to be one of the people laughing? Or one of the people standing up? Because in the end, that's the biggest twist in any revenge story. It's not just about the person who finally fights back. It's about everyone else who has to choose which side they're on when the tables turn. If this story hit a nerve or felt a little too familiar, go ahead and like this video so more people see it. Subscribe if you want more stories where quiet people stop being background characters and start writing the script. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying moment of real-life karma or revenge you've ever witnessed? I'll be down there reading your stories.